This is Trevor Sports, and it's time for Sportsnight. Good evening, welcome to Sports Night, where we're focusing purely on the Premier League because the Championship race is well and truly hotting up. But as just as important to that, there's also the race for the Champions League. Our main game tonight will be extended highlights of Leicester City hosting Chelsea at the King Power Stadium. Both sides are in a shout of European Champions League football, but who will get it?
James Maddison, Mark Brighton. Maddison again. Got two men on him, but he still managed to get across in towards Justin. Here is Justin on the volley!
Plus, we've got 9 Premier League games to wrap up and bring you all the highlights for. Leicester City just missed out on the Champions League by a defeat to Manchester United in the final days of the Premier League season last year. But they're starting to make recovery at the table here, and they play Chelsea, who've currently now fallen down into the Europa League place. It's one blue versus the other. It's one former winner of the Premier League versus one former winner of the Premier League. Therefore, we sent Trevor Tilsley to watch this game.
Thank you, Trevor. I'd like to welcome you to the King Power Stadium. The horns are going off. The foxes are emerging. It's a clash of the teams in blue today. It's Leicester against Chelsea. In a game which two teams that have won the Premier League in recent years, both sharing the honours in the mid-2010s. Chelsea winning at either side of that miracle season that everyone still talks about from Leicester. It is a rather chilly evening here tonight. It's dry though, so great conditions to be playing in. So here are the teams. Leicester City with the ever-present Jamie Vardy starting up front. A very balanced side in a 4-5-1 formation. Tielemans and Ndidi are going to be controlling the midfield for them. As for Chelsea, they continue with their 4-3-3 formation that Frank Lampard has employed. Pulisic and Ziyech have been revolutionary this season, it has to be said. Timo Werner hasn't been bad either. Just admit, I did bring my big coat out for this one. It is rather cold here in the Midlands. Let's hope the football warms us up quite quickly. There's Ben Chilwell. Thiago Silva. Into Kurt Zouma. He finds him, but he finds Jamie Vardy with that wayward pass. Don't want to give that man easy opportunities. Here's Yuri Tielemans looking to cross it. It's deflected and forward to Jamie Vardy! Well, that man, he doesn't need a second invitation to shoot. It fell rather fortuitously to him. But that man is very much lightning fast when it comes to latching onto opportunities. Mendy couldn't do much about it. Kurt Zouma will be hanging his head. It was a sloppy pass. Kante sold up the river with that one. And Tielemans, well, he tried to get the ball in. Kante, well, to be fair to him, he reacted quickly, but Jamie Vardy, even though he is supposedly the wrong side of 30, was quicker off the mark. Look at that, he latches on with his left foot, completely blindsides Mendy. And Jamie Vardy has scored yet another massive goal. And there's Jamie Vardy again. He does love a big occasion, that man. Here he is again. And James Maddison, Mark Brighton. Maddison again. Got two men on him, but he still managed to get across in towards Justin. Here is Justin on the volley! If he could have found the target, that might have been 2-0. Chelsea's defence early on is all at sea. The rain is just starting to come down now as well. Making it a little bit slippery out there. Leicester just looking for a second early on. Kante sticking a leg in, and that is a free kick. Foul on Castante. That's elects to take it quickly. Here's Ndidi. Thought about a shot from distance. Gets it to Justin instead. Now Brighton up against Chilwell, who will know him very well. Brighton does get the cross in. Mendy elects to punch it instead of catching it. Doesn't alleviate any of the pressure. Gets it into Vardy again. Oh, good save this time. That one was a bit more convincing, and it just about whistles out for a goal kick, that one. Jamie Vardy latching on to half chances this game. He's done really well here. Punch from Mendy wasn't convincing, but that save was a little bit better. Mason Mount. Chelsea just having a decent spell of possession now. Here's Kovacic. Just exchanging possession with Azpilicueta. Now Mason Mount again. He's lost it to James Maddison. Now Vardy. Ooh, was that an elbow? The referee is right in the instant there, and he's dished out a yellow card. Tell you what, at first glance that looks pretty nasty. Let's have a look here. Certainly worthy of a yellow. That angle wasn't particularly helpful. Aston giving it to Tielemans. Kante bowling him over. Maddison taking yet another quick free kick, trying to get Jamie Vardy away. He's got past two men. Jamie Vardy! Excellent save again from Mendy. Couldn't do much about the first goal, but he has conducted himself really well since the goal. There's Jamie Vardy just muscling his way through. Mendy, who's been preferred to Arrizabalaga in recent weeks, and he's certainly showing why. Here's Kante. Now Mount. Lampard's side have just been devoid of ideas so far in this first half. Here's Timo Werner now. Can he pull something out of the hat? Well, he forced a fine save out of Kasper Schmeichel there, who's effectively been reading a book this entire first half. He's had nothing to do. Werner made sure he was awake with that one. It's a fine save. Corner whipped in towards Ziyech. Headed up, but not away. It's fallen to Christian Pulisic. Oh, it's taken a cruel deflection! And it's gone all the way in. Unbelievable. How was your luck there? It's come off Ndidi. And Chelsea, who haven't had a whiff of it all game, are back level. Look at this. That header wasn't up and away. It wasn't Ndidi who headed it in the first place, and then he tries to throw himself in front of this, but inadvertently deflects it past his own keeper. So the first header wasn't convincing, you see, and then he tries to get in the way of that and takes it away from Kasper Schmeichel, who does console him. Part of the job, unfortunately, when you're defending, you can make it deflect into your own net. Michael Brighton getting it forward to Jamie Vardy again! Another good save from Mendy. He's been superb this first half, I've got to say. Jamie Vardy, he's feeding off scraps, let's be honest, but he is causing all kinds of problems with any half chance he's given. But that man has been denying him time and time again. Chelsea, who haven't really been in this game, got themselves back in here. Could they possibly snatch a goal before half time? It would be quite a sucker punch for Leicester. Here's Kante. Lampard is waving his men forward. There's Timo Werner on the edge of the box. Turns! Kasper Schmeichel gathering into the second attempt. Conditions are a bit slippery out there now, so I can understand him palming it down first. Keeping his side level going into half time. I'm sure Frank Lampard would have tried to rally the troops a bit. They were a bit passive in that first half, I've got to say, Chelsea. Let's see what they can do in the second half, but they've given the ball away. They've got it back though. Here's Timo Werner. Can he create something here? Kovacic. Looking for Ben Chilwell on the overlap. He's got a bit of space. Gets it in towards Timo Werner. It's over the bar. He's had plenty of opportunities this game, Timo Werner. He just hasn't been able to find the back of the net. Lovely pinpoint cross from Chilwell, you've got to say. If you don't hit the target, you don't score. There's Jamie Vardy on the ball now. Trying to hold up the ball a bit. There's a foul. I'm not sure which way. I think it's gone Chelsea's way, that one. Very much a 50-50 challenge, this. I suppose, looking at that, Tielemans did almost wipe out Kovacic. Thiago Silva to take the long free kick. It's been very even this second half, 51-49 in Leicester's favour. Ziyech, can he turn? He does! Straight out Kasper Schmeichel, who's palmed it just about out of danger. And the ball's gone all the way back to him, and he launches it long without any hesitation there. Probably didn't appreciate getting the ball back so readily. Look at this again. Lovely delivery from Silva, it's got to be said. And just about palmed it to his defender. Made sure it went away from the danger zone. There's Azpilicueta. Kovacic. Azpilicueta again. Chelsea just slowly building up. Mount. Oh, he's giving it away though. Now Vardy, he hasn't got much support with him at the moment. No fouls as the referee. Zuma gets it forward looking for Timo Werner. He's managed to get it to Christian Pulisic. Good save from Schmeichel. Some excellent goalkeeping on display here today. It's a goal kick, so that's gone. And look at this. Zuma winning the ball off Vardy, quickly getting it to Werner, lays it off. Big two hands from Kasper Schmeichel. Here's Mount. Last half an hour is going to be an intriguing contest, I've got to say. Here's Pulisic. Back to Mount. Referee's waving for advantage for a bit of shirt pulling. Ben Chilwell turns, gets it in. Werner! It's a carbon copy of what happened earlier. He's headed it over the bar. I don't know how many more chances Frank's going to give Timo Werner. If he keeps on missing the target, I think with people like Callum Hudson-Odoi and Tammy Abraham on the bench, might think about making a change. And Maddison to... Well, we thought he was all going to go along, but he's elected to go to Johnny Evans. Now Ndidi. To Evans. Yuri Tielemans now. Harvey Barnes. Back to Harvey Barnes, a lovely overlapping run. He's got past Azpilicueta. Can he get a cross in? He does. Towards Jamie Vardy. It's off the post. Well, how is your luck? Leicester City, well, they had a fantastic start to the match, but since then, they haven't had any luck at all. Look at this. How close can you get? The rebound fell kindly as well. Chelsea get away with that one. Both managers very much stern looks on their face on the sidelines. They know this is up for grabs. Any mistakes may be capitalised on. Here's Ben Chilwell. Had a reasonable reception today on his return, I must say. There's Kovacic. Ziyech from distance! Big one-handed save from Schmeichel. Danger's not over yet. Azpilicueta whips it back in. It wasn't a very good cross though. A bit of a shame that one, but Kante's going to mop up the pieces. And whilst he decides what to do with the ball, let's have another look at that chance. Ziyech forcing a fantastic left-handed save, I've got to say. It was moving. Big left hand to it. So into the last 10 minutes or so of this fixture. Is there a winner to be found? Here's Chilwell again. Mason Mount. Mount and Chilwell just exchanging passes. Now Kante. Azpilicueta. Ziyech on the edge of the box. Ziyech with the shots! Another good save out of Schmeichel. Danger's not over yet though. It's been picked up by Pulisic. Can Chelsea create something from this second chance? Sort of goes down but stays on his feet. Referee says nothing doing, and Leicester are going to just about get the ball away. Some honest football being played there. Would have questioned whether it would have been a penalty. That's another fantastic save by Schmeichel, by the way. If Ziyech had gone down perhaps, or Pulisic, would that have been classed as a penalty? Well, with 7 minutes to go, your guess is as good as mine as to who's going to win this match, if there is to be a winner. There's Werner. Ziyech goes down under a challenge. Referee says nothing doing, and now Jamie Vardy. He's split the defence. Kurt Zouma is the only man with him. Oh, what a tackle by Kurt Zouma. That is a game-saving tackle, that. And look at this. Chelsea now looking to break immediately. He's got to Ziyech from distance. Good save by Schmeichel. Well, if there's going to be a winner, it's not going to be through without trying. Although Leicester playing dangerous stuff at the back here. Just about getting their lines cleared. But look at this. Chelsea counter-attacking in a flash. All stemming from that wonderful Zouma slide tackle. Kasper Schmeichel called into action again. Is there a winner to be found? We've got 30 seconds left. Is there one more chance? Maddison, can he get the ball forward? Jamie Vardy. We've got 5 seconds left. Harvey Barnes up against Azpilicueta. He's got past his man. Yuri Tielemans. We're on time added on. It's whipped in towards Jamie Vardy. He can't quite reach it. And Chelsea just about clear their lines. Referee looks at his watch. And this enthralling contest comes to an end. It really was a tightly contested affair. A draw is probably fair, as some of the strikers were a little bit blunt today. Although you've got to say, when it came to goalkeeping displays, we saw textbook efforts from both Mendy and Schmeichel here today, keeping the scores at 1 apiece. But it's finished here at a rather cold, rainy King Power Stadium. Leicester City 1, Chelsea 1.
And it turned out to be a pretty entertaining game in which the goalkeepers were the star of the show. Eduardo Mendy and Kasper Schmeichel having 2 fantastic performances. So what did that draw mean for the rest of the Premier League? Well, to take you through all the results and all the goals and all the action and a lot of controversy, plus a fair few men and penalties, it's Trevor Sinstadt. Burnley's Nick Pope was the hero, as he had a standout performance in a match in which Burnley were very unlucky to come away from the losing side, even though it was Liverpool that made the brighter start for them, Trent Alexander-Arnold hitting the bar in the first few minutes of the match. As time wore on, Liverpool's frustrations grew. A squad rotation becomes a necessity. Taking your chance when you're brought to the side is absolutely vital. Diego Jota played through, denied by a fantastic save by Nick Pope. Liverpool continued the press as the game was played exclusively in Burnley's half, Divock Origi having a header at the far post that really he should have buried. And to round out the first half, it was chance following chance, and eventually Origi did have a chance, but it was met by the fantastic reflexes by Nick Pope. Fine game that he had. In the second half, Burnley ventured forward and nearly took the lead when Ashley Barnes' wonderful shot was brilliantly tipped away by Alisson. But in the end, it was a simple long ball and a bit of shoulder to shoulder that did the business for Liverpool in the end. Tarkowski was unable to control the ball from Mo Salah's pass. Divock Origi ran onto it and finished coolly to go past Nick Pope. It was the only time the Burnley goalkeeper was to be beaten. But following this goal, nerves started to show in the Liverpool play and they started to sit further and further back. Burnley came forward. Ashley Westwood broke with real pace and vigour, playing it out wide to Goodmanson, who crossed the ball into the area, only this time for Jay Rodriguez to get his radar off and to head wide. Alisson knew that was a real let-off for Liverpool, and Burnley continued to make chances in a game in which they probably had their best performance of the season despite the result. Only a brilliant save by Alisson from Jay Rodriguez kept the score up 1-0 Liverpool. And there was chance for more drama at the end. In the final moments of the match, Jay Rodriguez had played through Ashley Barnes, who was able to win the ball back by Gomez, similar into the way in which Divock Origi had won the ball back from Tarkowski. When it came to it, he fired wide of the goal, and the final whistle blew. Frustrations with Burnley, but they showed real fight here and promise. Maybe that will give them and stood dead in the FA Cup. As for Liverpool, it's the old adage of winning when you're playing badly. Manchester United made their way chip down to Craven Cottage, and it looked to be pretty much business as usual for Man United. Or so you would think. Fulham themselves are starting to put in some better performance in recent times. It was Fred, though, that was the stand-up player for Manchester United, his volley nearly opening the scorings. Even Cavallero hasn't had the brightest of season this far, neither has Alexander Mitrovic, but the two combined to nearly create the opening goal of the game, despite a great save. However, watch this for a counter-attack. Manchester United, from almost conceding, continue to move forward at pace. Rashford's ball into Fred, here's one touch here into Mason Greenwood and back. It's like the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, that. Manchester United counter-attacking and stunning the Cottagers. United were able to double the lead shortly thereafter. Mason Greenwood's pass with Bruno Fernandes allowed a pass up wide to play to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. When it came back to Mason Greenwood, he had the composure to curl it past Areola and fire Manchester United into a 2-goal lead. It was a lead in which Manchester United will hold for the rest of the game. No comeback today as Aston Villa, but it wasn't without its moments. Indeed, there were some scary moments in David De Gea's moment, that deflected shot just bouncing over his head. Fulham continued to make pressure, and in the end it was a fantastic save from Alexander Mitrovic by David De Gea that was the key defining moment in the match. Manchester United holding on for a very important win, keeps them in pace, and they've got a big showdown with Liverpool next. Could be a cracking game, that. With first and second both getting 3 points, pressure was on Manchester City to do exactly the same, but they were playing Brighton, perhaps the worst performing side in the season. A comedy of errors led to the opening chance in the match, and in the end it was time for Matthew Ryan to bring it to the table, denying Sergio Aguero. But there wasn't to be a long wait for Manchester City to break the opening scoreline. Lovely little touch by Aguero, taking it away from the defender. The finish was cool, calm and collected. It's just what Manchester City missed in the Champions League, which of course they're out of. Brighton themselves were victims of the Man City press, something which has been lacking slightly under Pep Guardiola's side this season. Indeed, Bernardo Silva's ball into Sergio Aguero was just a fraction wide of the post and nearly gave City a 2-0 lead. But there was to be drama in the contest, and indeed Brighton, despite everything, found themselves a way back into the match. Yanga Bash was broke forward and into acres of space. He was tackled by Zicacento, unfairly adjudged by the referee, who had no hesitation and pointed to the spot, despite the protests of the Manchester City players. He thought it was a rather innocuous foul to give. From the spot stepped Adam Lallana, a former Liverpool player, and he fired the ball past Everton to bring Brighton level. It was a real stunning moment inside the Etihad, and you wondered if their championship challenge was about to hinge on one rash decision. But Manchester City showed us why in the last 2 of the last 3 Premier League seasons they've been winners. They continue to force the play up here on Brighton. It was a number of top saves by Matthew Ryan that was keeping the game as it is, or some iffy defending that was getting in the way. Either way, at the moment, Manchester City's pressure was showing, and you wondered it was a case of if, not when, that they may be able to break through. And indeed that happened later on in the match. Raheem Sterling, lovely curling effort just wide of the post, just showed us they were knocking on the door. Manchester City were able to take the lead. It was Aguero and Sterling that combined, and indeed those two were quite fantastic most of the game. After Aguero collided with Lewis Dunk, it was Sterling that was able to charge through first. He slotted home to put Manchester City 2-1 up. You know, Raheem Sterling's had a pretty quiet season thus far. When he come to a ball in time for some good form to take Manchester City through to a championship challenge. Well, Brighton still have a few tricks up their sleeve, and despite their performances, again, similar to Burnley, put up one of their best performances of the seasons. Danny Welbeck probably should have done a lot better here from the near post. But it turned out to be the final nail in the coffin not long after that, when a long ball from Kevin De Bruyne fouled Bernardo Silva, who was brought down just before the referee could point to the spot. Raheem Sterling tucked away the rebound with his left foot and gave all 3 points to Manchester City. 3-1 winners at home at the Etihad. Jose Mourinho's Tottenham Hotspur, well, they knew it was a challenge for them to keep up, and Aston Villa this side have been one of the most impressive sides this season. Jack Grealish has been in fantastic form. His effort was well saved by Lloris, but no one was able to stop Bernard Traoré scoring a tap-in and giving Aston Villa an early lead. Indeed, Aston Villa this season have been in stark contrast to the side that just about survived relegation last season, and it showed when Traore turned provider. Watkins was through. His first touch showed immense control, his second showed immense precision to slide the ball past Lloris. At 2-0 up, Tottenham sprung into life and Jose Mourinho started to send his fullbacks forward, which meant on the counter-attack Aston Villa had more time and more space, and Jack Grealish was given licence to roam forwards. He was very unlucky here not to make it 3, denied by a pretty decent save, it has to be said, by Lloris. But as the game wore on, Tottenham started to make chances, Harry Kane allowed to swivel on a sixpence and sadly striking the post. As the second half continued, Tottenham continued to make chances again, Gareth Bale crossing the ball and Harry Kane's header, despite having a bit of direction to it, lacking the power and precision to beat the goalkeeper. As the game wore on, Tottenham were able to get themselves back, and it was this fantastic strike by Son Heung-min, a fantastic top bins effort that deceived Martinez, a brilliant strike, and on the replay it's just about as perfect a top corner strike as you'll get this season. That sparked Aston Villa into going out the other end and is restoring their 2-goal lead. They had a little bit of luck, but in the end Cash's ball into the box was met by Grealish and his header was tipped away by Lloris. But don't worry, Aston Villa used this as momentum to continue pushing forwards. Ball into El Ghazi, to Grealish, able to turn Alderweireld, 3-1 Aston Villa. Tottenham Hotspur showed real promise of championship challenges, but when it seems to really come to it, they just seem to fall off the ball. They do, however, have a Carabao Cup final to look forward to. The final moments of the match, Harry Kane took free kick, struck the post, and you thought it's not going to be Spurs' day. But then Song was brought down by Cash inside the area, and Tottenham Hotspur had a penalty. Referee were one of the easiest decisions there, and Harry Kane striking his penalty past Martinez. Must be good news for England, the fact that Kane's sticking the penalties away. For Tottenham, a bad night for them, but a fantastic one for Aston Villa. Great form for them. Arsenal have been really struggling, but seem to have turned the corner, and against Crystal Palace that trend continued, and it was one man that made the difference. Emile Smith-Rowe, his early right-footed effort just parried away by Vincent Gaeta, and he led the revival of Arsenal with Arteta's young Lions. Saka here had a very fine game, Lacazette seemed to show a bit more promise, and Kieran Tierney here crossing for Aubameyang. Gaeta tipping it onto the post, but the deflection coming back off Vincent Gaeta. The referee gave this as an own goal. I'm sure Aubameyang will appealing this on Monday that it should count as his strike. Judge from yourself from the replay, should this have been Aguero's goal or was this an own goal? From the header you can see the keeper makes the initial save onto the post and it deflects back in. Then again, post isn't on target. Crystal Palace though do shove a few tricks up their sleeve. Jordan Ayew playing through Wilfred Zaha, but he was denied by an excellent save by Bert Leno, driving quick to his feet. And Arsenal were able to get themselves a 2-0 lead. Emile Smith-Rowe's header was cleared of the line by Patrick Van Aanholt, but didn't really know a great deal about it, and then suddenly there was Emile Smith-Rowe to toe poke the ball home and put Arsenal 2 goals up. Really had a fine game and a very bright future for this young man in that Gunner shirt. Arsenal then sprung into life and it started to play the sort of football we know they're capable of. Josh Willett was running through completely unchallenged, able to get the ball back to Reece Nelson, denied again by Vincent Gaeta. But it was from another corner Arsenal made it 3. Thomas Partey's in, Danny Ceballos' simple header at the near post, 3-0 with that. Crystal Palace, another defeat for them, but a real revival for Arteta's Arsenal and a fantastic feeling back at the Emirates. You wonder, have Arsenal just come to it in the right time? While they're mainly in Southern Europe, the FA Cup's round the corner, we know they like playing in that. Big win for Arsenal in this London derby. Sheffield United and Newcastle United played out a really entertaining score draw, but you wouldn't have known that based on the first half. It was a niggly affair. John Joe Shelby dived for this. Some people called it should have been a red. Replays showed that from it was perhaps the right decision, but it just showed that John Joe Shelby might be the luckiest person in the Premier League tonight, because as you'll see, he somehow managed to stay on the pitch. And should he have stayed on for this challenge? A lot of people called this should have been his second yellow. Maybe the referee's bottle was lacking on this occasion. Despite protests by Alan Saint-Maxime and the latter Fleck, John Joe Shelby stayed on the pitch. Judge from yourself from the replay. Should he, or should this have been a second yellow? Beware poor goal kicks. Ramsdale's poor effort was straight out in the end to Joel Linton, combined with Alan Saint-Maximin, but his curling effort was just tipped away just when it counted. And Newcastle United started to create some chances. The side that beat Liverpool a week ago, Joel Linton's header again just tipped away by Ramsdale. But eventually there was to be a breakthrough for Newcastle United. Almiron and Joel Linton combining, just wide of the post though. Sheffield United, despite their recent great start, have been struggling at recent time, but they thought they should have been playing 10 when John Joe Shelby was pulled up again for another foul. On this occasion, the referee decided not to say anything again. No video assistance referee to do it. Good old-fashioned knowledge here, but maybe we might have needed VAR for this. Again, one to look at again. Is this a foul? Looks like an elbow to me. As the game wore on in the second half, suddenly it sprung into life and became highly entertaining. Sean Longstaff found himself through, and this excellent hit, which beat Ramsdale at his near post, gave Newcastle United the lead. But then Sheffield United started to come back to life and force themselves back into the match. Fleck's pass in the end, well-awaited curling effort, was palmed out by Dubravka. It was a warning shot to the Newcastle United man. Norwood's quite tasty from a free kick, and his effort found Jack O'Connell to head the ball home and give Sheffield United the equaliser. But they would get more than an equaliser because Norwood would get a free kick, and this season he's been quite prolific. There he went ahead, flicking the free kick over the wall, past Dubravka, and putting Sheffield United 2 goals to the good up. Bramall Lane was firing with desire in this game, and you wondered if that would be it, but Newcastle United were able to get themselves into the match. The poor bit of defending and persistence by Callum Wilson, he found himself through. Ramsdale's poor clearance found Alan Saint-Maximin. How important a block that was by O'Connell. Sean Longstaff's effort just going wide. But there was to be a last-minute piece of drama in the match, and Newcastle United were able to get themselves liver. More tenacity again from Callum Wilson, combining with Alan Saint-Maximin. This fantastic pass set up Saint-Maximin to get the equaliser for Newcastle United. It was a quality bit of football in a game which was the epitome of a game of two halves. First half was almost unwatchable. The second half was anything but. Really, really good game in the end this turned out to be. If only the first 45 minutes of Matchday, we might have had a 4-4. Leeds United and Southampton's high-pressing and high-line games came to punish both sides in the end. Danny Ings playing a ball through to Shane Long, who suddenly found himself in acres of space. Milo was across and able to tip the ball away, but in all fairness, from a chance like that, that should have been an opening goal for Southampton. And indeed there should have been one a couple of minutes later for Patrick Bamford, who found himself through against McCarthy, who made a very brave save diving at the feet of Patrick Bamford. But beware taking a touch, as the goalkeepers will sit there and complain at. Meslier took a touch too many, and in the end Shane Long was able to get there before the clearance was in. It ricocheted just under the bar. Real luck for Southampton that led against Leeds. Leeds United were able to get themselves into the game. Rafinha broke free. Out came McCarthy, but Rafinha cleverly passed it back to Diego Llorente. On his second appearance, gets his first goal for Leeds United. And with a few minutes to go, looked to have got the equaliser. But in the end, Leeds United was stunned at Ellen Road by a bit of football that defied belief. Yes, it was dismissed by Che Adams. I'm sure that's something he won't want to see again. But in the final few moments of the match, where it seemed all simple to be, Danny Ings was able to find Nathan Redmond in space. He crossed across goal. The deflection off Meslier, a real scramble in the area, but it was this poor clearance that was the deciding factor. Nathan Redmond latched onto it, and Southampton beat Leeds United at Ellen Road. A shocker for this, but great for Southampton in their season. How they need 2021 to kick in gear for Ralph Hasenhut's side. Still, West Ham United and West Brom was a bit of a relegation 6-pointer in this game, and it was West Brom that seemed the more likely and more eligible team, Craig Robinson going early from the near post. But it was a game that hinged on a couple of key moments. Aaron Cresswell's deflected free kick beating its way past Johnston and giving West Ham United the lead. Indeed, a lead they were to fold for the rest of the game. Replay showed the goalkeeper after the deflection didn't have a chance. West Bromwich Albion continued to move forward, and Fredericks in the end was guilty of fouling Matthias Pereira, giving away a spot kick, which the referee duly pointed to the spot for. Despite West Ham protest, the honour to bring them level rested on Charlie Austin. But sadly, it was one of the worst penalties you'll see this season. Going for a little chip down the middle, less Panenka, more Pallister. Chipped miles over the bar. I'm sure that's something that Charlie Austin really won't want to see again. West Ham then were able to create a couple more chances, but weren't able to add to their moment. Lanzini's wonderful run deserved to make it 2-0, but just when the moment counted, he fired just wide. West Ham United winners by a goal to 0. Important for them, it brings them further up the table. It does sink West Bromwich Albion further down, however. Wolverhampton Wanderers and Everton met in a game in which there wasn't a great deal of goals. In fact, there was none, but there were opportunity and chances in the match. Raul Jimenez has got a good relationship with Adama Traore, and Adama Traore's tenacity showed as he battled against Everton defenders to eventually get a left-footed shot off, only to be denied by Pickford. Something fitting that to the third round of the FA Cup. Wonder when that is. Seamus Coleman's a pretty good crosser of the ball, and he crossed to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but on this occasion the Englishman's radar was off when it counted on the key moments. Indeed, it was down to Everton's work on the right-hand side they were able to create the chances that they did. Andre Gomez denied here by a fantastic save by Raul Patricio, but it was all Iwobi on the right wing. But in the end of the match, there was a real big chance in the end for Adama Traore to seal things. As the touch ricocheted across from Keane, Traore was through, but the finish was lacking, just wide. That turned out to be the best chance in the match. This one finished 0-0, not the worst result for either side, but judging by the attacking talents, you would have expected more. So here are all the results of Matchday 18 in the Premier League. We're nearly halfway through the season. We will be halfway point once we finish Match of the Day this Saturday. So, on this occasion, who had some great results? Well, Arsenal stand out to me. They were the side they had the biggest winning margin. Manchester City, Liverpool and Manchester United keep up the pressure. Tottenham Hotspur lose ground after that defeat. And Leicester and Chelsea missed a chance to leap ahead. Sheffield United and Newcastle United played the highest scoring drawed game today. In the lower half of the table, Brighton, Fulham and West Ham sit at the bottom. Crystal Palace, Southampton and Sheffield United will be wary of falling into a relegation fight, but there's clear distance between 17th and 18th place. Everton and Wolves drop into the lower half of the table. Top half of the table, Liverpool have a 4-point lead but host Manchester United at Anfield next. Manchester United know a big win is available for them there if they can take it. If they can't, Manchester City and Chelsea, Spurs will be snapping at their heels, as will Leicester City. You'd have to count them in the top 6 at the moment. Arsenal move up to 10th after that, and Aston Villa, after their brilliant win, also move up to 9th. Newcastle and Leeds United were both beaten. Next for us, we're back on Match of the Day with a big one. Liverpool versus Manchester United from Anfield. And we've got the derby between Wolves and West Bromwich Albion. Should be a classic between those two. Plus, don't forget that we've got Match of the Day, the road to Wembley, third round highlights. We've got all the action from 16 third round ties here on Trevor Sports. Friday the 22nd of January about 8 o'clock. So don't go anywhere. There we go, another evening's entertainment of Sportsnight is concluded. We hope you all had a fantastic time joining us and hope you're looking forward to the big one with the league game between Liverpool and Man United. Plus, as always, the FA Cup. It's Trevor Sports. It's as close as it gets to the real thing. That's fans in stadium, that is. Good night, everybody.